What's up, traders? Welcome to the Day Trading Show. Today, I sit down with the man, the myth, the legend, Cam Foose. Cam is a mentor of mine in a way. I've been following him for a long time. You guys are going to like this episode. He doesn't do podcasts often at all. So today, we kind of cover everything. We talk about his story with some trading strategy and trading psychology interjected in between. We talk about what's coming from him in the future after filming today. We cover a lot, and I really appreciate Cam for giving us the time. If you guys are interested, I have a link in the description to connect with Cam and all of his resources, his website, and everything like that. I also have a link in the description if you want to stream live with me and our team of traders. There's a 3-day free trial in the description to ASFX TV, where you can tune in live and watch the recordings of me and our team of funded traders as we navigate the market and call trades for you guys every day of the week, London session and New York session. So definitely check out that link. Come see us on ASFX TV. But beyond that, sit back and enjoy this episode. Listen, watch. You guys are going to love this. We do some screen share towards the end of the episode. So make sure you check your phone, check your YouTube link, and you actually flip it so you can see what Foose is showing us. You're going to want to see it. We talk about his MetaTrader trades. We talk about how he's using Hydra to find better trades too. I mean, just everything. You guys are going to love this. So enjoy. Well, everybody, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cam Foose. Cam, thank you, bro. I really appreciate you setting the time for this. This is going to be good.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man, having me on. This will be my first podcast. Hopefully more to come. But yeah, let's get this ball rolling.
Let's do it, bro. So first, I want to kind of set the stage for someone that doesn't know you, maybe living under a rock over the last 10 years and hasn't been paying attention to trading education on the internet. You are originally from Idaho. Is that correct?
I'm originally from Oregon, actually, but I did move to Idaho when I was like 22.
I'm taking you back.
I lived there
right
for
now,
about
bro.
a year.
I'm taking you back right now. So I remember that. I remember one of your first videos that blew up on the internet was you throwing that boat party. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yep. So that was a big piece.
The Wolf of San Diego.
The Wolf of San
boat
Diego.
Party.
Yeah,
I actually hired a video team. We did like a marketing campaign for like a promo video, and then we also filmed the yacht video after that. It's just for fun.
bro. And it did great. It was one of your most popular videos. It was that video.
Yeah.
I remember you and Kunal went to Colombia and shot a sick video in Pablo Escobar's mansion. That was another sick one with the drone.
Yeah, the good old days with the trading team.
Yeah,
the bros. Oh, those are wild trips.
Dude, and it's crazy that, I was thinking about this as I was just driving back from the gym. I was like, damn, bro, like I've known Foose probably longer than the current girl he's dating right now. Cause I remember when you were like 3 other girlfriends back, bro. So it's pretty interesting to see your transformation. You've gone from just a day trader basically to now building this empire where you have crypto courses, you have your traditional course that you're doing. I know your mentorship stuff. Now you're doing real estate in Bali. So you've evolved a lot, man, which I think a lot of traders want to emulate. So now that, we kind of set the stage for who you are and what your background is a little bit, can you kind of catch everybody up since the days of like the Foose 4 pattern and everything like that? I know you've started the crypto, the Krypton stuff, and now you're in Bali, right? So catch us up on that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, this all started in 2005. That's when I placed my first trade. And prior to ever trading, I was in college and I was going to be a stockbroker. That was like my plan. Yeah. Until you realize that a stockbroker is just a salesman. And the only way they make money, they're not actually traders. They're not actually making decisions. There's usually someone in the back office with a team that's doing all like whatever stock picking or asset management and stuff. And a broker is really just trying to find clients to bring money in. And then the broker makes money by just earning a commission on the amount of dollars coming in. So once I realized that, I was, you're not a trader. You're just a salesman. I'm not a salesman. You're basically, it's kind of like, I don't know, just wasn't something I was interested in. And also usually when you go in, you're working these crazy hours. You're the grunt on the floor and you're just doing all this bullshit. And so, I decided I wanted to learn how to trade instead. And so it's actually funny. My family got this like stock tip on a company.
Oh, I remember this story, bro.
Yeah.
You're taking me back now, bro. And you had them all in on it. Remember, right?
Yeah. So it was like some biotech. And you realize later, once you get into trading, that biotechs are some of the most speculative because they're all pre-FDA and everybody's banking on getting FDA approval. Then they spike 50 to 100% or whatever, and you make money. So this was a pre-FDA approved something for like some foot gel. I don't know what the fuck it was, but some family friend tip who was I don't know. He thought it was going to be a good idea. So my aunt thought it was going to be an idea. Next thing you know, my mom and all her sisters thought it'd be a great idea, which I'm like, wait, that sounds like a good idea. And then and my uncle, my great uncle had just passed away, and my family across three sisters and their brother got 500K. So it wasn't a lot. Um, once it's dispersed, but everyone's like, oh, why don't we use this money to put it in this stock and make money? And I had a car at the time. I had like a 97 BMW M3 that I also bought with some of the money that my mom gave me from that inheritance plus money that I had saved up. I was like, maybe I'll sell my car and I'll just start dabbling in this trading thing to see how it goes. Because I come to the realization, I think I was maybe a sophomore in college at this time, that, maybe the stockbroker thing isn't something I want to do. And there's also this website called threestocksonfire.com, which was ran by these two guys in Portugal, which are kind of they were doing something similar that I'm doing today. And that was kind of the early beginnings of me realizing you can also turn it into a business if you're good enough at trading. And so I basically got on there and just I stopped going to class. All I was doing was learning about stock trading and becoming a popular member of this forum. But also with that stock pick, my whole family put everything, all their eggs in one basket, which you also learn later. That's the worst thing you can do when you're trading or doing anything. And so then the pre-FDA news, I think like phase 2 or phase 3 of the drug came out and said, sorry guys, this thing doesn't work. And that thing went from like, well, we bought it at 4, it went to like 7 or 8. So they doubled their money at this point, and then it dropped to like 60 or 50 cents in a day after that news. And that was just like kind of like, whoa, shit, this is the stock market can be very dangerous if you don't do it correctly.
Right.
And so that was an interesting way to enter the market. I had actually sold prior to that, and I made a little bit of money because I was just bored. I was like, I don't want to just hold this thing. Like I was just learning about all this stuff, and I'm seeing all these people make trading trades and profits on this website, Three Stocks on Fire. And so I sold for a profit and made a little bit of money. But then I eventually just lost all this money like 3 to 6 months later, anyways, because when you're beginning, and also now a lot of people are trading, shit coins, meme coins, all this stuff in crypto. But back then in 2005, the hot sector that everybody traded was penny stocks on the OTC market, which is similar. It's an unregulated market where anybody can go and trade. They don't have to report anything to the SEC. It's like the Wild West. I don't even know if it exists anymore. I haven't looked into stocks like this in a long time.
I don't think it does, but it might.
Yeah. And so that was kind of where all the hype was, where you're going to earn your, in stocks and penny stocks. It wasn't like 10 to 100x like you see in some of these cryptos. It was like 1 to 2x.
Sure.
You might get a 100-200% rip.
Sure.
And so that's kind of where I focused my attention, which you then soon later realize that it's just gambling and you're not going to make any consistent gains. You might hit that home run. That's what everybody comes into trading and wants, is that home run trade that they get rich quick and they make that life-changing moment where they're no longer in their shitty situation, which you realize later that doesn't exist in trading. And if that's a strategy you're going to use to approach in trading, you're eventually going to lose it all anyways, like I did over the course of the next 3 years of my trading career. I blew up 3 accounts, probably lost about $50,000 and just fucking around trying to hit that home run. Before you realize that is not a viable strategy. And I tweeted about this the other week. I was like, if you see anybody get rich quick in trading, they're not going to stay rich, because whatever strategy they use to get there is not going to be sustainable in the long run. They're eventually going to swing for the fence again, and they're going to blow it all up, or they're going to make a really bad trade where they lose 50%, and then they're going to revenge trade to try to recover from that. And that's going to even snowball that
even worse
downward spiral even faster.
Yep.
And so I spent a lot of time, figuring out that that's not the way to do it. But we're all greedy, we're all stupid. When you're young, you're a little bit more ignorant, you haven't gone through those life experiences either. And so it's very important that you go through those experiences yourself, because me or you can try to tell someone about that kind of experience, but you don't feel it until you feel that pain yourself. And you have to literally go through that yourself to kind of understand, like, okay, shit, like, because a lot of times people will see something or see somebody on Twitter or Instagram or YouTube talk about they made this really big trade. And then that's what inspires people to get started in trading. as opposed to someone going like, hey, you're going to get rich very, very slow. It's going to take you 10 years to do this.
Or
That's not going to
even
be a
you could
popular.
be wrong and be doing the right thing and losing money, but still be moving in the right direction. I feel like
Yeah.
those two things together make it really hard for people to like settle into trading. Once they start taking losses, they start making even dumber decisions, as we both have done and
Yeah.
both know from other people too.
Yeah. So that's not an exciting marketing proposition either
No,
from a
definitely
business
not.
standpoint when you're when you're trying to sell product or
But that's why you
post
had
a
to do the
viral
other stuff,
YouTube
because the
video.
other stuff brought the attention too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And so it took me about 3 years of dabbling in learning and messing around before I finally came to the realization that you kind of really need to trade. You can trade volatile assets, but you have to trade real assets that aren't going to be, crazy moves up and down. Yeah, you can trade those, but the more you dive only into that, you're going to be going through crazy volatile swings in your account, which makes you very emotional, and you become emotionally unstable to the point where you can't consistently find gains in
Right.
trading.
Right.
Um, and so that was like, a 3 year period of like, okay, maybe I need to try to figure out this in a more get rich slow approach,
Yeah.
because I was still trying to get rich fast.
Right.
And shortly after that, I started finding consistent gains and started focusing a little bit more on risk management and the psychology part, which is another big aspect. Like I just said, it becomes an emotional roller coaster where you can't sustain that ability to make rational decisions because the assets you're trading are so volatile. You're just going fucking crazy. And so then that started pushing me to focus more on the trading psychology aspect, which is really at the end of the day, the only thing that if you can't figure out your trading psychology and your emotional stability, you're never going to make money.
Correct.
And if you're trading the wrong assets and the wrong strategies, you're going to be emotionally unstable no matter what.
Exactly.
And so that was kind of the tipping point, I guess, where I started becoming more consistent. And then 2008 came around once I started being smarter. And then we saw the stock market meltdown in 2008. And that was kind of also a turning point because I did lose a lot of money. My business basically shut down because in 2000 in April of 2008, I got to the point where I had been running a trading blog for 2 years, kind of documenting my experience as a trader. And I built up a pretty good reputation at this point. I think actually I did a podcast with Tim Sykes in 2008.
No way.
Yeah, so I think
Bro, we
he
got to find
noticed
that
me.
video. I want to see that.
Yeah,
That's a
it
classic right
could
there.
be. It was called Tim Radio.
Okay.
Um, it might still be out there. I don't even know. Maybe I'll even.
Take a Google. Let's see if we can find that. That's interesting because I never knew that. In the process of you going through the meltdown of 2008, I'm going to guess you did not trade well through that meltdown. Is that what you were kind of leading to, saying the business shut down?
Yeah, I don't see it when I just do a Tim Radio. It doesn't pop up.
Okay.
But yeah, and so going into 2008, I was uh strictly swing trading, holding overnight, longer term holds. And then in 2008, holding overnight, and I didn't short
Oh
at this
man.
point. I was
Oh
long
man.
only, swing trading only.
So you just got
Uh,
smoked.
yeah, and so that strategy was like you can't use that strategy in this game. So I got smoked for sure. Uh, to the point where I started bartending again, and just was like, okay, well, fuck, this sucks.
It's humbling
'Cause
though, isn't it? Like going through those
yeah,
experiences. And I think it probably is like now when you look back on it, it's a good lesson to be like the best traders really are the ones who stay
oh
humble because like you said, right as we experience our biggest wins, normally our biggest loss is right after that.
yeah, I'm blessed to be able to go through that, especially at an earlier stage in my career. Because in 2008, um, April, I decided to turn my business into a paid service. So it was $50 a month. And I made like 30 grand the first month, people signing up. I was like, holy shit, people are actually listening to me. And this is weird. I was like a 22-year-old fucking alcoholic party
At
animal.
30 grand a month in 2008, bro, you're living.
Yeah. No, so it was great. And a lot of people also, you posted the thing the other day we can talk about later also, where people get a little bit mad if you're charging and you're making money on top of your trading. It's not something I guess I don't know, people are get a little bit sensitive about it. If
Real quick,
they
what's your thought on that? Yeah, elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, I think from their standpoint, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes to look at it. where they might think that, if you're a new trader and you haven't been in the space and all of a sudden you're just like posting some home run trades, and you're like, hey, I'm going to charge you for this on top of that, then I guess people are like, I don't know. Some people say they just think it looks like a scam. Like, if you're making so much trading, why do you need to charge for your service? And it's like, why not? It's a profession and I'm pretty good at it. And I've been doing it for 20 years. And if you want to learn how to do it, then I can teach you some things that I've learned over this 20-year process.
Right.
And so I don't know. I guess people just, they don't want to believe that you're making money trading. They don't want to see you make even more money. I don't know. Like 2021, I did like 1.8 million in trading profits, and I also did 5 million in sales for my business. So yeah, I made more money, almost double, more than double in the product. And people are asking me about it on my YouTube live the other day. What do you make more? I said, well, it depends. My trading performance directly correlates with my sales.
Of
Because
course.
if I trade better, I have better content for social media,
Sell more courses, sell more stuff.
which then that leads to more sales because those videos perform better.
Right.
So it's a balance that you have to figure out on your own as you're doing it. I mean, I'm not apologetic for it at all. I want to
No,
make
you
as much
shouldn't be,
money as
because
possible.
I mean, I think
So,
like when you look at any other industry, separate like trading away from this, there's good actors and bad actors. I think a lot of people
yeah,
come into trading and they look to either bootleg a course or spend as little investment as possible on their education. And normally, if you buy a $50 course or a $100 course off Udemy or something like that, it's probably not going to be as valuable as your course or my course, something that has proprietary information, real value to it. That's why the price point is what it is. So I think that people will buy that cheaper course sometimes. It leaves a bad taste in their mouth. They're like, I could have got this for free on the internet. Why would I pay you?
yeah,
And then they all think we're all the same. But I think also it's people's insecurities. They don't believe in themselves like you believed in yourself from the jump. You know, your
yeah,
self-belief, bro, is probably your strongest characteristic that has driven you to the success that you've had. Wouldn't you agree? You've always
yeah,
believed in yourself, even after you lost your family's money, bro. Most people would
yeah,
quit at that point, you know?
yeah. And that's the thing about trading, is you're gonna fail. You're likely gonna blow up your first account. You're gonna make those mistakes. And yeah, that can be very discouraging. I was discouraged, but I was also a little bit addicted. Like I don't necessarily have an addictive behavior to like other things in my life, but this was I was addicted to. It was all I did was I stopped like I dropped out of college my senior year. I had like, not much credits left to finish. And I was just like, why I don't even like this at all. And all I'm doing instead of going to class is fucking learning about trading and participating in this Three Stocks on Fire community, and starting my own website in 2006 and just blogging and writing for Seeking Alpha and just doing all this other stuff. And so I was an addict, regardless of winning or losing. I was still participating in some way, shape, or form.
Why? I'm
So
curious. What do you think drove that? Like, what belief did you just see the future for yourself and the unlimited income potential? Was that the only motivating factor?
I well, I guess I didn't really, in some senses, I didn't have a choice because I didn't have any other options in my head that I would do alternatively. I wasn't like, okay, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to do this. There was no plan B. I guess you could
I mean,
say
that's
it's
a
like,
great, like, you know, the story, bro. Burn the ships, right? Like, that's it. It was
yeah,
it. We're going to make this work. Yeah.
yeah. So that's, I guess, like I haven't really put that in perspective myself or thought about it until just now. But yeah, I didn't really have. There was no plan B. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do,
Yeah.
and so that's it. And uh, yeah, it was either go do this or become a broker, of which I didn't want to become a broker once I realized what it was. So that was kind of Xing out that plan
Yeah.
B.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kept rolling with the punches, and eventually, so we went through the 2008 meltdown.
Yeah.
I was downtown San Diego, bartending after my business basically went to shit. All my subscribers kind of canceled because I didn't have a strategy to trade this market. I went through the learning process of like,
What did
okay,
that feel like, bro? When the market is just going down, 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 and you don't know how to take advantage? I'm curious, like, what did that feel like? Was it frustrating even then?
yeah, man, it was awful. It was a scary
I can only
experience
imagine, bro.
because I was living in Boise, Idaho, paying $300 a month for rent, and then I moved to San Diego, in April of 2008 after I had just launched my business. I made 30 G's that first initial month signing up. So I'm like, okay, let's go do this in a big city. I'm balling now.
Right, right.
So next thing you know, I increased my rent to $2,000 a month right after for going from $300 a month, um, living down in San Diego. And then next thing you know, in August, I think was right when shit really started hitting the fan. Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Kramer's freaking out. He's got that famous clip on fucking YouTube of him just fucking screaming,
Yep.
"They know nothing. They know nothing."
See, bro, it literally traumatized you. It's imprinted in your brain, bro. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So
It's
everything goes down. You're kind of out of the game at this point, bartending, doing your thing in San Diego. So you're waking up real early to trade New York Open or see what's going on New York Open, 6 a.m.
yeah, that was awful. I did that for
Awful.
about 10 years.
Awful. I don't know how you did that, bro. That was the one thing I always questioned you about. I was like, dude, if Foose is killing it, why is he in San Diego? Like, get to the East Coast, go to somewhere else.
Yeah, I know. I love Southern California. It
Why?
was just
Bro,
like
why? There's no way you're going back, right? You're never going back
no,
to San Diego. No way.
now I'll never be back in Southern California, let alone the US.
I was
Yeah, I
gonna
don't
say
think.
I saw your tweet. You're like, you're not even coming back to the States, most likely, are you?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm looking into renouncing my citizenship right now.
Because you still
But
got to pay taxes if you have citizenship, right?
yeah, I paid I pay a lot of taxes. It
Bro,
sucks.
that would drive me nuts because you've been living in Bali for how many years now?
I left in 2016.
So, oh man, that would be frustrating because I hate taxes as it is, let alone to not even live here and have to pay for taxes.
Yeah, I mean most of my customer base. Well, actually, no, actually, just the last couple years, it shifted to more international sales than US based. So I'm
That's
like,
interesting. Mine's opposite. Mine is like 60% international now, and it's just growing in the US now. And
yeah,
bro, we're so similar. I dropped out junior year too. I just wanted you to know that too. So
yeah,
go all in, bro. My parents didn't like it. Nobody liked it, but I still did it because I felt like I had the bug. Same thing for you. And I was not, dude, I lost 40 grand in my first 2 years, just like you, like
yeah,
just blowing money. So we both caught whatever was going around in the air at that point. It must have been something in the water. You were a little bit
yeah,
before.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So catch us up then from I like the story. So we're coming out of 2008. How did you pick the ball back up?
So I was still bartending, and I was still obviously monitoring the markets, and I was messing around more so with some day trading strategies as well, trying to figure out the intraday aspect of trading because prior to this, I wasn't looking at anything intraday. This is 2005 to 2008. It was swing trading only. I didn't even look at intraday charts. I
Hmm.
didn't need to. It was just a different kind of market, different kind of game. And so I started dabbling into intraday trading because I was still trading the whole time throughout 2000. I never personally stopped
Of
trading.
course.
My just subscriber base went to fucking
Well, everybody was,
nothing.
bro. 2008 was terrible
Yeah,
for most people, bro. Most people
yeah,
lost their job. They lost their 401k. They were freaking out.
yeah. And so what I realized later is that market crashes are the best opportunities you can get because in about March or so of 2009, uh, when I got the timing of this was so perfect. Because one, I didn't like my bartending job, and I was bartending in Boise, Idaho. It was the best year of my life. It was so fucking fun. We could drink on the job. It was just so fun.
Life
And I
was
moved to
easy,
San Diego.
right?
Yeah, I moved to San Diego and get a job at this Australian bar called the Bondi downtown, and it's just not the same experience. We can't drink. It's like a restaurant slash bar. And prior to this, me getting a job at this bartender, I couldn't find any bartending job. I was a fucking bouncer at this shitty fucking bar, making like $7 an hour, trying to work my way up to bartender. I
Wow,
lasted like
bro.
2 weeks, and I was like, "Fuck this." I remember
Dude,
I saw
you as
my
a bouncer, that's funny. I feel like someone's got to make a meme of that, like your head on a
yeah,
big, huge body, bro.
yeah. Oh, it was so embarrassing. I saw my ex girlfriend, and I was working as the bouncer, wearing this fucking yellow windbreaker, and I was just like I was just killing it, like fucking 3 months ago.
Dude, that's a
Yeah.
great story, bro. That's humbling though, right there. That's and
Yeah.
motivating, right?
Yeah. And so, anyways, I quit on Halloween Day from that bartending job or that bouncer job. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to go party and get fucked up.
Yeah.
And then I eventually got a job at this bar downtown, which I got fired for. My boss didn't really like me because I think she knew I didn't want to be there anyways. And which that probably showed in my work. as I was there. She's like, show up late one more time, mate. You're done. I was like, okay. And so I showed up late one more time. She cans me on the job. Then I sit at the bar and order a beer. And then she's like,
Savage, bro.
what are you doing? And then I'm like, I'm having a fucking beer. You just fired me. She's like, get out.
Damn, she didn't even want your money, bro. She was like, I'm that pissed at you. That's so funny.
Yeah. And so simultaneously, as this was happening, uh, the market was basically coming to a bottom. And at this point, everything was like a fucking penny stock. Everything was under $5. Bank of America was like at $1. So all the patterns that I was trading, like you saw, you just were pulling up those old patterns that you had in those documents that you tweeted about today, like the revival pattern. This was where the revival pattern just really came into fucking fruition. And I turned 5K into like 100K, like in the next like 6 months, just trading this revival pattern because everything was in that pattern.
Right.
All the major banks were in that pattern. Fucking everything was in this pattern. It became a point where you usually trading large cap stocks wasn't something you could trade with these patterns because they trade differently. But at this point, everything had come down so low. There was so much upside. And so it was easy to take a 5K account into 100K using basically just this one pattern.
How long
And
did
that
that
was
take
kind
you?
of when I think it was about like 9 months. And I was actually trading at a firm
Oh,
at this time. I forget what it was called.
like a prop
And
firm?
they wanted it was kind of like a prop firm, but I forget how it actually operated.
So we're like
I think it was
2010 now, 2011.
yeah, where it basically like I think I don't remember. I don't trade stocks anymore, but I think like a typical broker might give you like 2 to 3 to 1,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, I think it's
And
two to one.
this maybe gave you 3 to 5 to 1
Okay. Okay.
at this prop firm back then. I forget what it was called. Um, and so then they wanted me to trade capital for them. And I'm like, no,
Really?
that's sounds like a bunch of stress.
Yeah.
So
It is.
yeah, I mean if I want to do that, I would have done that a long time ago and started a hedge fund and
Right.
manage people's money, which
Right.
I have no interest doing. Trading already itself is fucking stressful as shit. If I
Dude,
had people
imagine people
breathing down my
calling you
neck.
all the time. Hey, Foose, what's up with the market today? You'd be like, bro, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was kind of like the beginning of like, okay, let's do this right. I got some bankroll here. And from there, that just turned into me focusing on strategy and not losing all this money that I just made as well. And it also kind of turned into the douchebag foos as well, because now I got money rolling in, course sales are flying. Next thing you know, I'm buying Maseratis, boats, traveling all over the world, making fucking YouTube videos of crib tours at Pablo Escobar's mansion in Colombia. And that was it was fun, but also I wouldn't necessarily say it was really who I was at the same time. But when you first come into money, like shit, what am I going to do with all this money? What am I going to buy next? And then all of a sudden you make some video and it just leads to more course sales. And you're like, shit, well, what else can I do to lead to more course sales? So you kind of get caught in this fucking whatever you want to call that, just this loop of I got to do something next to outdo what I just did to increase sales because I know it works. It's lifestyle marketing,
Yeah.
which you can do, and I still do it in some senses, but I definitely toned it down. Just because I got sick of playing this character for YouTube to, make more money.
Bro, it's
But
good for
yeah,
people to
granted,
hear you say that, bro. I think like everybody listening should really rewind and hear that again because I think people still, bro, they don't understand the difference sometimes between the marketing and the guy behind it. I feel like I've always known that you're a genuine guy that was using the marketing and the lifestyle to sell his business, which is why I looked up to you so much. So I think it's really a good reminder for people to hear like who you are at one point in your life is not who you are forever. You have to know how to run and grow a business. And in marketing, playing a character, it gives people a story, bro. Like, look, I know your story. I bought into your story. You conveyed it well, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's that the balance. I mean, even just being a trader and a YouTuber also has you got to find balance because a lot of times you're trading for the YouTube content. Like,
Right.
oh man, if it turns into a big trade, it'll be a good video to make. And so
Right.
sometimes you get a way of if I didn't give a shit about, sharing this trade on the internet, would I be making the same decisions right now? And so it can definitely fuck with your trading. I'd probably be a 10 times better trader if I didn't have a YouTube channel or a
Really?
business surrounded about it. Well, I just think so because a lot of times I'll fuck up because I'm like, maybe I'll swing for the fences a little bit more, or I'll lean a little bit higher on the risk side because I want to get that big win for YouTube. And I've definitely found more balance in it. But yeah, I've definitely made a lot of mistakes just simply trying to get that trade for YouTube
Yeah.
because I know it'll be good marketing for my business.
Yeah.
So,
When did Norbert come into the picture?
uh, so I started kind of doing like basically lifestyle travel vlogging, which I think that was kind of when people saw a little bit more of the real side of me. Because
Yep.
before it was a lot of just kind of pre-set up, like, okay, we're gonna go to Colombia with all the boys and fucking get shit faced, and we're gonna
Right.
set this up. We're gonna rent this specific place because we want to do a video there to do a cribs tour. It's gonna be dope, blah blah blah. And then, but that was more so just like, okay, hit record. We ready? Okay, cool. And then I started in 2016. Actually met a girl who was passing through San Diego. And at this point, I think I was like 30 or something. I was already kind of burnt down on trading. Just also, like you said before, how to know how you did it in San Diego for that long, getting up that early and having to do that. And I was also running a live stream every day for fucking 5 years straight. Like I don't know if I ever missed a stream out or not. I don't know. But as soon as it was 6:30, I was live on
Dude,
Twitch
that is
TV. I
so
called it.
hard. People don't
Yeah.
understand. I did it for a year when I worked with this firm T3 in New York. It was 4 a.m. I'd wake up, 5 a.m. East Coast. I'd go 5 to 11 every day. So
Yeah.
hard, bro. I lasted like 12, 13 months and I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. Uh, Wait, what
So
was I saying?
you met the girl,
Oh
start.
yeah.
Yep. So she
And
was
so I
coming
was
through
already
San
kind of
Diego. You started doing the
yeah.
lifestyle marketing,
I
the
was just kind
travel
of burnt
vlogging.
out. I was burnt out on trading.
Yeah.
I was burnt out on playing this fucking character. Uh, and I was also kind of just burnt out on my lifestyle in San Diego. I was doing a bunch of drugs, drinking all the time. That was just what my weekends were. That was what my friend circle was. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, I can't fucking handle this shit anymore. And so I met this girl who didn't really drink. She was like this little yoga kind of fucking slightly hippie-ish, but not really, but just a little bit more free spirited girl. And she had already been traveling the world for 2 years, and she was just passing through San Diego. And so we went on a date. We went to this yoga class, then we went to this like cave in La Jolla, then went back to my condo. We're just chilling at the pool, and we just like hit it off like big time on day one. And she basically moved in that day because she was sleeping on her friend's couch that she was passing through. And then so she just basically never left. And then we started dating. And then maybe like 2 months later, I was about to move to Florida. The guy who I worked with was in Florida. Another guy that worked with me was in Miami or was in New York. He was going to come down to Florida. We were all going to work together. And so I went to Miami, and me and this girl were still dating. So I was like, shit, I don't know what's going to happen with me and this girl, but I think I'm going to move to Miami. Is she going to come with me? I don't know. So I go to Miami, sign a lease downtown, this sick condo, and I'm there for about a week. And I'm like, I fucking hate this place. What am I doing? I don't
Same.
want to be here.
Miami sucks, bro. I'm in Tampa. Miami is so different than Tampa, bro. I
Yeah.
can do 2 nights in Miami and I'm done. Max.
Yeah. And so like a couple days before I'm getting ready to leave, like my boys that I'm working with, they're like excited, and I'm just like in my head, in my heart, I'm like, this isn't happening. I'm not doing this shit. And so they're pissed off because I had to tell them like, listen, I can't be here. I backed out of the lease. And then I talked to my girlfriend. I was like, and she was actually getting ready to go to Thailand because her boss lived in Thailand that had a villa, like a sick villa that he had on Copenhagen. She worked for some like supplement company. She's like, I'm going to Thailand. And I was like, how about I just sell everything and we just go together and we'll just fucking wing it and see where it goes. And that was end of 2016. When I left, I'd already sold all my shit, felt fucking great, sold all my cars, got rid of all my shit. I actually just got rid of my storage locker like 6 years later. I probably spent like $15,000 on this stupid storage locker of just shit that I didn't need. I was like, what am I doing with all this shit? I was like, can you cancel this? You guys can have everything inside. I don't even know what's in there. It's
Just
like,
take it. I don't want it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that was kind of just the beginning. And so I basically documented this whole thing. If you go back on my YouTube starting in like 2016, 2017, there's a bunch of vlogs of me just kind of actually vlogging, which was fun. But it gets exhausting as well. Having to fucking carry a camera around, like you're filming in public all the time, doing this fucking
Annoying.
selfie
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Nobody likes doing
I
it.
can't do it anymore.
I know.
But it was fun at the time, and it's pretty good content as
Yeah.
well. And so that was kind of like a different approach. I was still doing like lifestyle stuff, but it was more so me just kind of documenting my trading experience as well as like showing me and my girlfriend traveling together.
Yep.
And then to get to your question, when Norbert came in, I was looking for an editor online. Me and my girlfriend were in Hong Kong, and I was looking on Upwork, found Norbert. He started editing all my vlogs remotely for me because I was shooting, editing, running my business, trading.
Too much.
It was way too much.
Yeah.
And then so Norbert's in Hungary. So he started editing all my videos. And then me and my girlfriend broke up while we were in South Africa. And so this was maybe like a year and a half after we started dating. And then I hit up Norbert. I was like, bro, you want to come to South Africa, do this full time? He's like, sure, why not? And so me and him just started traveling the world together for 2 years, just vlogging, shooting content. I was basically, I had a full-time videographer and photographer with me 24/7.
Yep.
Which was fun, but it's also fucking exhausting.
Oh, dude, for sure.
And we started this interview show that was actually cool called The Profile as well.
I do remember that a little bit.
Yeah, we shot one with Mike, who used to work with me, a trader that we did in New York.
Yeah, Mike. I remember Mike.
Yeah. It was super fun because it was like an interview show, but we would start out with a vlog and we would go do something cool first. But there wasn't really, and this was also the transition of me kind of exiting my trading because I was in London. I think I made like one last bad trade at like fucking 2 a.m. in fucking London. It's like, I fucking quit. I'm fucking done. Because this is also once you're traveling, like traveling and trading is like the market could work from anywhere.
Right.
But it's
not really good for trading. It's actually really hard to trade and travel.
Yeah. Which you can do it if you're stable, but I was bouncing all over the place. I was in different time zones all the fucking time. And I spent a lot of time in Asia where the stock market opens at like 9:30 to 10:30 at night here. And that also was just exhausting. I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I can't be a slave to New York time. And so that was kind of the final straw. And at throughout this period, I was in the process of starting a new business, which was based around YouTube, selling courses, all that thing. Just basically
teaching entrepreneurs how to do it, right?
Yeah. Like if you want to sell a course based on a skill set, here's how I've done it. Here's how I've made millions of dollars selling courses. Here's how you can do it too. So I basically set up a blueprint for that. And I announced, I think in like 2017, 2018, was a YouTube video about it that I was quitting trading. Because I was just exhausted. I was living in Asia now. Stock market opened at 10:30 at night. I don't want to do it anymore. Like it just got to the point where, I used to trade because I loved doing it. And I got to the point where I was trading only because I had to do it because that's what my business was. This was my income. And, I quit trading and then I didn't trade. I didn't make a trade for 2 years. It was fucking great. My life was so much more peaceful.
I bet.
No more stress.
I bet.
But I wasn't making any money anymore.
Right.
So
the give and take.
Eventually it got to the point where I was like, okay, I got to figure something else out because I'm doing this entrepreneur business. It's just not selling as well. I don't have that name in that niche yet. And it's going to take a lot of fucking work to build that up. And I just didn't really, I don't know. It just wasn't, I wasn't very passionate about it. It wasn't like that trading addiction in 2005 where I was like waking up excited to do this every day. It was like, okay, I got to do this because if I don't, I don't have income anymore.
Right.
And so, yeah, it got pretty sticky there for a while where my savings was just because I was still living a good lifestyle that I was used to.
Right.
But I didn't have any income coming in anymore.
So what did you do next?
So basically, COVID comes around and all of a sudden my YouTube channel starts blowing up again.
I remember you tweeted this. Why did it blow up? Was it one video in particular, something it was like about the day in a life or something, or I forget maybe what it was that blew.
I don't remember a specific video.
Okay.
It was, but it was just my channel, any trading content in general, because all of a sudden,
probably because everybody got into day trading. Right.
Nobody could work anymore. Everyone's
Right.
stuck at home. Everyone's looking for different ways to make money.
Yeah.
And this was like 2019 or something.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking for ways to make money. Next thing you know, my YouTube channel is just popping off. And I'm like, I haven't even made a YouTube channel or trading video in forever. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll just dabble in the stock market again and see how this is. And then within like 2 months, I'm already burnt out because I'm working at
Really?
night again. Yeah, just because I'm working at night again,
Because you're
and I'm
still in
just like,
Asia.
yeah, I'm still in Bali.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, fuck this. This sucks. And then I had a buddy that just messages me. He's like, hey, bro, buy XRP. I'm like, what the fuck is XRP? And I'm not even looking at crypto. I was always talking shit about crypto, like in the
You did,
2017 fucking
bro.
bull
You
market.
talked
Yeah.
shit about Forex, crypto, bro. You hated on everything.
Yeah.
And then it's funny. And then
Yeah.
I see you posting MetaTrader 4 pictures, like starting like 2021, 2022. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at this guy coming around, Foos. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so then I start looking into crypto, and I'm starting to notice a lot of similarities in patterns that I can trade. And also, I don't have to fucking work at night. I can work whenever I want, whenever the market's open 24/7. And so that was like kind of like a light bulb, like, okay, shit, maybe I can actually do crypto and not be fucking burnt out and miserable all the time because I'm working as a slave to New York time and I live in Asia.
Right.
And so that just snowballed into I start trading crypto. I make a few videos about it. They do well on YouTube. Within 3 months, I put together a course, making like, turning 20K into 100K real quick. And then that snowballed into 20K into like 1.8 million in, what was it, 2020 or 2021? It was like between the start of 2020 into middle of 2021 that happened. And I think I made like about 500K in the 2022 or bear market as well on the downside, because I have courses for both going long as courses both for going short as well. And so, yeah, dude, it just everything rapidly changed very quickly. It went from 2 years of doing fuck all, no trading, no stress, but no income, savings getting burnt. I was like, okay, shit, I got to do something here. And then crypto came around, and I was like, okay, maybe
I'm
this is
back.
what I do.
Yeah.
I'm back. And a lot of it was just getting set up in a way where I could be happy with doing it. Like you said, how do you do it in San Diego? Yeah, it was fucking miserable. East Coast time is fucking great. You can wake up 6, 7 o'clock. You can have your morning cup of coffee, relax, check out the market, see what's going on, get prepared for what's going on. In San Diego, it was wake up at fucking 5:30 or 6 o'clock or so, slam a cold brew coffee. Within 15, 20 minutes, I'm still waking up. I got to be live on Fous TV ready to stream, and I'm fucking
Crazy.
miserable. I would go back to sleep. I would stream for an hour and I would go back to sleep. And so it was just like the worst fucking
Worst lifestyle, especially for somebody like you, bro. You've always been also very health conscious. You almost didn't you do
yeah.
a workout thing before too?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing like a
Fitness
workout
training.
online fitness stuff. It was
Yeah.
called Foos Fit.
Yeah.
Because I was still kind of in that transition of like I was getting burnt down on this trade thing. And it wasn't necessarily, I've come to realize I wasn't burnt out on trading. I was burnt out on the time and hours of where I was living.
Got it.
And that's what it was, just lack of sleep. Sleep deprivation is
It's
fucking
real.
killer, dude.
It's fucking
And
real.
so if you're not sleeping or getting good sleep, or your sleep patterns are all fucked up, it fucks your mood,
Your
it
brain
fucks
don't
your
work.
energy. Yeah. And so uh that's why I was moving to Miami also. I was like, I gotta get out of here. If I'm gonna keep doing this, I have to leave.
Yeah.
And so, but then I just got to Miami. I was like, I fucking hate Miami. This is
Right.
like, it was fun before when I would go for like a weekend and party, but then once I was there for like
Living there,
a
bro.
full
Oh my
week, and I
God.
was like, I don't know what my daily routine would be here. I don't have like any good coffee shops that I like to go work at. Like,
You would have to learn to speak Spanish for sure.
yeah, yeah. And then so yeah, this all just kind of snowballed into Iconic FX, which is now my business. Before it was Iconic Traders, which was a stock market brand. Um, and yeah, things are going really well now. Obviously, things definitely slowed down in the 2022 bear market, which I performed quite well personally, but uh, it's a really tough environment for people who aren't experienced traders
Agreed.
to go through, and which is good for them because now they went through this learning process
It's a
of
good time
like
to learn. Yeah,
I basically called the top at like 65K on
I saw
Bitcoin. I
that.
said, hey guys, we have a trend reversal here on Ethereum. This is a bull trap as well on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, this is something to seriously take note of. I didn't know if that was going to be it, but you have to take all considerations.
Of
And I
course.
always look out. I'm always looking for the worst case scenario and how do I protect myself for that. Most people are looking at, okay, how am I going to get rich off this situation? I'm looking at, if shit goes south, how do I not lose everything so I can fucking survive for when things are good again? And that's
It's
not where people approach trading
and that's like
for
the
the
Paul
most part.
Tudor Jones approach. He always says, like when he takes positions, the first thought he thinks about is how much can I lose, not how much can
Yeah,
I make. And I think that
yeah,
that's your experience talking right there for sure,
yeah. I actually have some products that are in the works now that are all based on risk management, because that's where most people fuck up.
for
Is
sure.
they bet too big.
Yep.
Their stop losses are not in accordance with their position size, and they allow that stop or that position size get too big of a loss that
Right.
is too detrimental to their account per a single trade. Um, like, I typically, rule of thumb is I can't lose more than 2% on a trade. I break this rule sometimes because I don't have the proper tools to set this up for me, especially the way that I trade. But I have tools that are in the works now that'll calculate all this for you, so that whether you're, getting in at one position or you're getting, like, for me lately, I get in on a grid. Like, if I'm trying to pick a trend reversal, like if I'm getting short Bitcoin at 30K, which I'm short Bitcoin at 30,200. I don't know if it's going to peak at 29.5. I don't know if it's going to peak at 31.5. So I'm going to put 20 orders in between 29.5 and 31.5 and get in the every step of the way.
Yep.
And then, but I still have to figure out, okay, if all those orders are filled and my stop is hit, I can only lose 2%.
2%. So it has to be broken down into pieces. Right.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of math that
There's
needs to be
definitely
done.
math. Exactly.
Um,
And especially because you do a
it's,
lot of pendings now, correct? Where you're getting picked up on these pending orders, not as many market orders.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So the product that I'm working on will do it. You can set like your range. I want to get in between here and here. Here's my stop. So based on my account size of whatever it is, $100,000, $500,000, I only want to lose, let's say 1% or 1.5, 2%, however much you want to lose. I'm going to set my stop here, but I only want to lose 2% based on if I had these 20 orders filled between
Right.
this range.
Right.
And so that's a complicated process to do manually, especially when things are moving quick. So I'm trying to put together a product that I can put automate that whole situation.
No,
Uh,
it's a great product. What are you doing? We should talk about the funding companies since now you kind of caught us up on the story. We're now Iconic FX, crypto. Well, actually, before we talk about the Hydra funding and everything, are you more now a long or are you more a short kind of guy? Like I know you pay attention to your P&L and your stats. Where do you feel more comfortable and where do you make more money? Just curious.
um, I enjoy shorting more just because it's like the dark
Got it.
side, and it's it's contrarian to what most people are doing, and
Yep.
most people don't get it. People are all usually looking for long only.
Yep.
I would say I actually probably make more money going long because I think the opportunities, I'm more comfortable holding longer on a good long setup than I am on a good short setup. Because when I'm typically going long, like on a breakout trades, which would be like the standard Fous 4 that you learned, which are also very similar in the Krypton long patterns, not trading like, buying the dip patterns. Buying the dip is extremely hard in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But if you're trading breakout trading in a bull market, those can be some of the highest returns and the easier trades to make, because when you're buying a breakout, it's very clear where the breakout point is. Like, oh, here's the resistance that's going to break out. I can put one entry here. That's it. And if it works out, then I'm going to make a lot of money. If it doesn't work out, then I'll stop out for a loss. Where if you're trying to buy the dip, like, it's the dip that keeps on dipping, right? You don't know when that dip is where you have to get in.
Especially in crypto, bro. Especially
Yeah.
in crypto.
And so my biggest gainers are typically from those
Longs.
breakout trades that do work out. But those cycles only happen maybe once, twice, three times a year. So
Sure.
you have to be able to identify those and capitalize on it. Like, we just saw some of those breakout patterns just play out just this week, which I fucked up. I got in early on like Blur, ARB, GMX, and I bought the dip on them, waiting pre-breakout for them to break out. And they spiked up. I locked in maybe like 20, 30% profits on them. And then we saw one more spike to the downside where Bitcoin was already at 30K, Ethereum had already topped out at 2K. I'm like, shit, is this the top for these guys? Like, are we going to pull back hard? And so I set my stops at break even
And it
on
stopped
those
you out.
trades, stopped me out, and then they fucking ripped 50% from there.
Of course, bro.
So,
Of course.
So I think I missed the cycle for what we just saw, because right now Bitcoin and Ethereum just both ripped 100% now at resistance. And so I'm not one to be chasing this rally. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm more predominantly leaning short right now for a short-term, near-term pullback. What's going to happen in the next 3-6 months? I have no fucking idea.
You're not really fundamentally based in these decisions, are you, bro? It's all technical analysis, really, is it?
It can be both. Now, the problem with fundamental analysis is you're usually your timing is wrong,
Yeah.
or your theory is correct, but it typically takes way longer for that theory to play out. And
Correct.
if you're, I think you tweeted something about this also, like, don't let your macro view fuck up your technical view, because yeah, and I've been there plenty of times as well, because as soon as your opinion is different than what the charts are telling you, because of your macro view, that's where you can get into a lot of trouble, because you're now ignoring what the chart is telling you, which the chart is the truth.
Either you're going to get smoked. Yep. You're either going to get, like, you're going to go. Mine was, I was looking for shorts and then I missed longs. So instead of throwing shorts in and losing the short, which you can get smoked in that situation, then I'm sitting on the sideline rather than just trading trend and riding that long. So the macro view can definitely fuck you up. So do you kind of put that aside with this crypto stuff, or do you look at all of the news? Because like you mentioned Blur and some of these coins, and in my head, first thought is like, how do you keep track of all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle and a fine balance that you got to figure out, because I'm a bit macro bear right now.
Same.
Simply for the fact, because I think at some point inflation and the stimulus package from COVID spending that flooded the market, people are going to run out of that money. The inflation is going to cause less spending. People are going to get more fearful. And at some point, this is going to show up in earnings on stocks.
Yep.
Which we don't know yet. It might. Earnings just started. Banks are actually crushing.
Goldman just missed today. So
yeah, I saw Goldman missed on revenue. I think they actually beat on earnings, but they missed on revenue.
Yeah. Netflix, I saw Netflix down 10% after hours today. They came in way under in subscribers that they expected. So we are going into earnings season now. So with that, you're saying that kind of makes you, let's see the earnings, and that could feed the bear thesis?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. And also stocks just made a pretty monumental rally to the upside, of which I've been adding shorts to my S&P. I'm short S&P, I'm short NASDAQ, I'm short UK 100, I'm short Euro Stocks 50, for the NASDAQ.
How long will you hold those? For everybody, because people are going to be listening to this. We're filming this April 18th, 2023. Yeah. I'm sure it'll come out like mid-May, just for people, like, not for them to follow these trades. That's not what people are going to do. But like, out of your strategy, like, curiosity for you, will you hold these for a month or two if SPX just goes sideways?
Yeah, it's all just, I'm just sitting and holding. I've been accumulating short on these for, I go pull up I can share my screen here, or of which then we can also, because I'm trading this, I mean, essentially on the Hydra funding platform also.
Yeah. So, and then there you go. You should be able to share now. Nice. Okay. So I can see what you're doing here. 42.12. Yeah. I mean, 4,200 is the definite resistance above for sure. So it's a great place for stops.
Yeah. So if we start popping over there, I mean, I could adjust these. I'm not quite sure yet, because what would be ideal actually is we do break out above these highs and we create a bull trap, and then we see that reversal to the downside. But if you look at like US 30, so right now I'm down about 25K on these positions, of which typically I'm always negative on my shorts, because I usually get in a range. As you can see, I'm adding shorts as we get in here. Every spike, I'm like, okay, another spike. And if we look at US 30 here, on here, we're just grinding up into this level again. Where I think this is, if we start seeing some bad earnings come out, of which I think you said NASDAQ or
Goldman, Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix.
30. So I think if you go just real quick, go to a 15-minute today on US 30, you'll see it pops down today at like 7:15 East Coast time. So that's like,
was this Goldman probably?
Yep, and that was the earnings break before market open. Yep, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's basically what I'm looking for is another pullback here on US stocks. And if we see that pullback on US stocks, I also think that's going to be the trigger for crypto to come down as well. Like, right, Bitcoin, of which, it's we'll see what happens with Bitcoin, right? I started getting short on Bitcoin, of which I just made about 60 G's long on
Yeah.
Bitcoin into this rip here.
Okay.
And then I simultaneously added to my shorts on the way up
So
on
are you
Bitcoin.
ever long and short at the same time or no?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Why long there off 28K and now short at 30? Because couldn't this be a bull? Like, couldn't that pump have been a bull trap? Or because we saw the accumulation in there, you felt like you had a base?
So for me, this is just a very standard bull flag
Ascending wedge. Yeah.
uh right under a resistance level, which I call a magnet. So if you're like almost to a resistance level, it's gonna go there
Right.
probably 70% plus of the time.
Right.
And so that was just like, okay, this is gonna pop eventually. We're gonna go right to 30K. Everyone's talking about 30K. Uh and we got a bullish consolidation right under there. So I got long about 28,000 and then basically started locking in gains starting at like 29.6. Basically, I have a grid of exits. I had
Yeah.
like 20 orders to get out, anywhere between like 29 to like 30,500. So I just went like sell
That's
the whole way
awesome.
up. At the same
So
time, I have a grid of shorts to get in here all the way up. Like if we look at Bitcoin right now, you can see I'm short at about 30,200,
yeah.
currently down about 2,500 bucks, but I still have, so you can see these are all my exits
Yeah.
to get out. And I
Yeah.
still have great orders to
Get picked
short
up there. 31,
if we spike.
31.7, 31.3. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. But I did also have at prior to, all these short orders were already in place. And I
Prior to
also
the
had a
long.
long,
Wow.
yeah, at about 28,000 here. And then locked in gains the whole way up. So I
Yep.
had orders to get out of my long as well as orders to get short at the same time.
Okay, so let me
Here.
let me ask you a question. Since now you're trading multiple accounts, I'm sure somebody's wondering how much money
Mm-hmm.
do you think you need in an account? And we can talk about Hydra here too. How much money do
Mm-hmm.
you think you need for someone like not a brand new trader, someone that's been trading? Where do you send them? Because I typically tell people a minimum 100K. Is that kind of what you feel is a good number for crypto as
I was
well?
just gonna say if you don't have 50 to 100K, I think a funding trading account is a better option.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me it's 50 to 100K. It used to not be this because I'm only recently started getting into the funding side of things, and it
Right.
makes a lot of sense for new traders. It's something that I wish I had when I
Me too.
was beginning trading. But for those of you who don't know what funding trading is, I can show you. It's essentially like, let's say you have $10,000 and you want to open up an account. You can either open up that account at, say, Bybit, where I trade now,
Yep.
and let's say you want to double that account. You have to earn 100% on that, which is extremely fucking difficult to do. You can either swing for the fence and trade like a degenerate, and you might be able to hit one home run trade and do that in a day. But like I said before, that kind of trading behavior is not going to be sustainable. You're eventually going to blow up your account.
Right.
Or you can take $1,000 from that $10,000 and you can get access to $100,000 in capital to trade with. So like for a $100,000 account, it's $997. And what this does is essentially you have to go through a challenge of where you can prove that you can earn a certain percentage profit on this account without going into a max drawdown of 5%. If you go through a 5% loss, you're going to get that account canceled. You just lost $1,000, but at least you didn't lose your
10,000.
entire $10,000.
Correct.
Just like you, just like me, we both blew up accounts and lost $40,000 to $50,000 over the course of however many years when we got started, because you have to go through that learning process of understanding what you can and cannot do in trading to actually learn anything.
Yep.
Whereas with a funding account, you can still go through those learning process of losing everything, but you're only losing 1% of whatever the account balance is that you're going for.
Yep.
And let's say you do pass the challenge, which again is very difficult to do. to win in trading is fucking hard. And so that's going to be a difficult thing. But if you pass it, you now have $100,000 in capital to trade with. And now, just like before, if you started at $10,000 at Bybit, to earn $10,000, you have to earn 100% on your account, which is fucking hard.
Right.
But if you're trading with $100,000, you only have to earn 10%.
And then you got it.
To
So
earn
what's the
that
big
same
con to
$10,000
this?
profit.
Because my audience is pretty familiar with the funding stuff. We've done some videos with like other guys that are funded. They know I've been funded.
Yeah.
What do you think the con is to the funding, if any?
Well, let me talk about the pros and the cons. So
Sure.
the cons with this is that there's a lot of rules that can limit you from big home run swing for the fence gains. So you're probably not going to make those big home run trades, because if you do, and then all of a sudden you go into a daily loss max of 4% on your account, you can instantly be out, right? So the risks of, they don't allow you to take big risks, which can be a con, because in your head, you're like, I want that big win. But at the same time, it's actually a good thing, because what a funded account does is embed trading rules and smart portfolio management habits for in the future. If you do, like, the goal of a funded account is just basically to help you learn the habits that you actually need for when you go out in the real world and have your own account. Because if you don't have these kind of habits with restrictions, you're going to go out with your real account and go for that home run swing. And if you don't have that daily loss max drawdown, where you're going to either, if you break these rules, you're out of the game. With a real account, you're going to break that rule. And next thing you know, your whole account's going to be down 50%.
Damn right.
And so a funded account basically has these rules in place, which can build these good trading habits, so that eventually, if you do become successful on a funded account, you can then eventually open up your own account and trade on your own.
Yeah.
So I guess really the only con, in a sense, is that there's less freedom to do what you want. But at the same time, that's a double-edged sword, because it builds these good trading habits for portfolio and risk management that you need if you actually want to survive in this game and do it long term.
Agreed.
So,
Do you what's Hydra doing to stay competitive? Do you have any plans to add assets? Because I know you guys offer a lot of crypto, correct?
yeah.
So what's any plans for like people that are listening, thinking about taking a challenge with you guys? Like anything coming in the future that kind of sets you guys apart? Because I'll tell you, some people are going to look at this and they're going to be like, Foose, why go with Hydra at 997 when some of your competition is 497 for the 100K? What would you say to that?
Yeah, so we're coming up. We're actually switching partners here shortly, and we're coming up with new different plans. And a lot of people ask us that same question: why is yours 997 while others are 497? The difference right now, how we stand out for that fact, is that for half the price of which we are coming out with the same exact plan and replicating it.
Okay.
For, let's say, the $100,000 account would be 497 instead of 997. The difference with that is a 2-phase challenge pass. So you have to do this 10% gain without a 4% loss or 5% loss twice.
Got it.
Prove twice that you can pass it, which is also limits your ability to pass. Whereas a 997 is a single phase challenge where you only have to pass this challenge once.
That's a good offer. That'll make people
Yeah.
tempted for it for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but we're doing both. And that other option is coming out shortly. And we also offer, you can trade Forex, you can trade crypto, you can trade stocks, you can trade commodities. Like right now, I'm short Apple and Nvidia also.
Nice.
You can see I've been accumulating to my Apple short, and I'll continually adding as we push higher into these levels. I'm also short Nvidia as of right now. And so it's nice to be able to do this because I still trade some stocks. I usually don't, but just lately I started trading some Meta. Now I'm in Apple.
Well, it's cool. I mean, these funding companies allow you to do everything in one spot. Like, look at this. You have it. This is why I'm, do you guys offer anything like the dollar index? Yeah, I see it right there, USDX. So you can
trade. So I had a pretty solid trade on USDX. You can see my entries here on the chart. Bought the dip.
Bro, that's down below a little bit better than buying the dip, bro. That's nailing the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then got in down here and then started unlocking my gains on the way up, which I basically also fucking nailed gold.
Did
Should
you?
you?
Gold
Because
always
I
gives me a hard time, bro. It's always been difficult for me,
gold
but
is
I'm a
fucking
day
hard,
trader.
man.
Yeah, it is.
And so because USDX and gold are kind of inverse of each other. So as I was getting long here on USDX, I was also shorting gold. As you see, I was getting short here. I actually
Yep.
stopped out right here and then said, you know what, fuck you. I'm getting short again on this fucking fake out right here.
And then you
And
fucking
then
nailed it.
got short right here and
Nailed
then
it, bro. Look at
nailed
that.
all my entries and exits here. And then this is me getting long actually right here.
Look at that,
And
bro.
then
Called
getting
the
out for profits and then fucking break even stop essentially hit right here and then fucking rip to the
dude.
upside.
So are these
So
price action trades? Or are these being like, because here you have no EMAs, so or you have nothing here. So are you doing
yeah.
trading view analysis and then you place it here, or are you just looking at price and feeling it?
No, I'm usually doing all my charting on trading view.
Okay,
And
that's what I thought.
then
Come over here and just place it, keep it clean over here.
yeah, this is all just for executions.
So since we're talking about crypto and stuff, can we talk for a second about, was it Solana that messed you up? What tether or stable coin screwed you up?
No, that was Anchor Protocol, which is also an interesting story, UST.
Let's
So
hear it because I need to hear this one.
yeah, so like I said, I did like 5 million in 2020, 2021 with course sales in my Telegram. Uh, and so I had probably like $1 million in expenses that year, and then I paid about 1 million in taxes, and then I had like 3 mil or something left, and so I just had all this money sitting in my checking account, and I was like, I blame Grant Cardone for this because I watched like a I watched like a an Instagram reel, and he was like, never hold cash. Your cash should always be doing something different than cash. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
But this
You're
was the
fucking
time
right.
too when Ray Dalio was out there saying cash is trash. I'm gonna turn your screen off here. When
Yeah,
Dalio was like cash is trash, you got to invest. So that was about the same time.
yeah. And so, and also, I already had my real estate project going on at this point, and I had, a bunch of money set aside that I'm gonna also fund this real estate development that was going on, but I didn't need it yet. And so I started with like maybe 500K. If anybody doesn't know what Anchor Protocol was, it was basically an APY yielding DeFi protocol where you could earn 19%
Oh
on
my
your
god.
deposit
Oh my
uh,
god. For
with
doing nothing, just like a
yeah,
CD, basically, like a savings account.
yeah. And so, but you had to buy the UST, which was Luna's
Right.
stable
That's what it
coin,
was. Yes.
and then you just deposit on Anchor Protocol and you earn, I think it was 19%. And so I started with like 500K and I was earning like a good yield, and then I fucking upped it to 1 million, and I was like, and there's fucking billions of dollars, big fucking names were using Anchor Protocol, investing in this because it was just a yield that they were producing. And then so I bumped it to fucking 2 mil. I'm earning 30 grand a month in interest payments. And I'm just like, shit, this is fucking like I'm earning a lot more doing this than real
Doing
estate.
nothing, right? Like you, because
Yeah.
you're, so everybody understands, he's doing nothing. You just put the money in there and they give you that yield, right? That's what
Yeah,
it
which
is.
is
Yeah.
essentially, when you think about it, you're like, okay, this is clearly is a red flag. This is wrong here. And then the problem was that the stablecoin is directly tied to the demand for Luna.
Okay.
And so um and this was also like part of like the bull market, and Do Kwon also made some mistakes along the way as well, which when he did this I got a little bit concerned because I was also very bearish on the market. And so Luna basically, I believe there's definitely rumors about Luna and UST being attacked by major short positions. Uh, that eventually led to the first initial pullback that then led to the death spiral where UST depegged. And prior to this depegging, Luna or Do Kwon started tweeting all this stuff about how many billions of dollars and bragging about how many billions of dollars that he's buying in Bitcoin to use as the reserves for UST, which I thought was a terrible idea because I thought Bitcoin was getting ready to crash to 20K and Bitcoin is at like 40K right now. So that basically disabled his ability to also back the reserves that would be needed if there was a bank run on UST, because Bitcoin just dropped fucking 50%. And so whatever his reserves were also just dropped 50%, which was kind of like me like concerning. I didn't act on it, which I should have.
Yeah, you put the
Got
whole thing
out.
together, bro. It sounds like you kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah. So yeah, all of a sudden, UST's depegging, but all my money's staked on Anchor Protocol earning 30K. And so I'm like freaking out. I'm like, shit, fuck. And like at one point it's down like 700K, the valuation of it. And I was like, okay, I'm like down 700K, fuck. And then it like comes back up. And I'm like, should I get out right now? Like I could have gotten out for maybe like a 400K loss. And still at that time, I'm thinking we haven't really seen a full depeg of a stable coin. I'm thinking it's got to come back. Like it's got to come back. Right. And then I'm also getting ready to go be a best man at my buddy's wedding. So I'm like getting ready to get on an international flight while this all is unfolding. And so I get on a flight and I'm touching down in Japan. I get off my plane. I have a photo on it somewhere on my social media.
I've seen this, bro.
Yeah. And UST's at like 60 cents. And I can sit there and I think I can take what, like however many hundreds of $1,000 loss. And I'm just like, I can get out here, 60 cents, preserve what I have left, or I can get on this flight to fucking go to the USA and hope for the best.
Oh,
And it's like a go big or go home moment, right?
yep.
And because it's hard to take that loss. It's hard to just be
Yeah,
like,
bro.
if I would have taken that loss of like $700,000 or whatever it was at the time, and then it goes back and
Oh my God,
repegs,
you would have been so
that's
pissed.
gonna fuck with my head even more.
For
Also,
sure.
like, I can't
For
believe
sure.
I fucking just did that.
Right.
And so, uh, there's like a psychology thing that I read in some trading book where people would rather bet on the bigger loss than take this smaller win or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
That's basically what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I land in America and it's at like 20 cents. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm officially fucked.
So
And
what
that
you
was
do?
it.
Nothing.
I eventually
When that
got out
happens,
at
you don't
like,
do shit, right? Like you're just like, I'm out.
yeah, eventually got out at like 7 cents or something.
Wow.
And walked away with like $100,000 or 150 grand.
Wow.
Some shit. So yeah, that was a very depressing next probably 3 to 4 months because that mostly just about, I know I can make all that back. I already have made it all back, but the idea of what I could have done with that money instead.
It eats at you, doesn't it? It bothers the shit out of you, I bet, a little bit still.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's yeah, it sucks, but
Yeah,
I've fully recovered now from it,
of course.
mentally and financially. But yeah, it was an interesting lesson to go through.
In that moment,
Also,
I'm curious because like people probably want to know what do you do to come back from a loss like that? Because bro, let's be honest. Most people listening to this probably are not going to ever lose 700K ever in a trade. That's, I mean, most people just are not going
yeah,
to get to the level that you're
well,
at.
it
So how
was
do you come back from that?
like a lot of people ask me that same question, but it's a little bit different because for me, this wasn't a trade. It wasn't money in any of my trading accounts. This was money from my business checking account from course sales.
Yeah.
That was me thinking, okay, it's just sitting here doing nothing. I'm not earning any cash on it. Just sitting there. Like, how can I use this money to make money? Not trading at this point, I was fully out of the market.
So you were just putting the money there, like a checking account.
Yeah, I'm like, we're in full bear mode. I want zero exposure to the market right now.
Yeah,
I'm not trading. Like, I don't have any long assets. I just want to earn some yield while we wait for this money. This is my dip buying fund. That's what this $2 million was.
Right.
So
you're just sitting there waiting, and then it just took it from you.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And that was also the big, this was like, I was like, okay, if we get down to like fucking 13 to 9K on Bitcoin, I'm going to unload this 2 mil and fucking just buy the dip on altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum. And so that was kind of like the most painful part. Like I was like, yeah, it's a big dip buying fund, of which we never even went down there to 12 to 13, 9K, which I don't know if we're going to go down there or not. We still might. But yeah, I never even got that opportunity anyways to buy the dip because I had no interest in buying the dip at 16K. I thought we were going to continue going at least down to 13 to 9. But yeah, so as far as like a recovery standpoint, this was just like a stupidity situation. It had zero effect on my trading because
what about like your effect on like belief systems in institutions? Did it make you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely lost all trust in DeFi.
Right.
And I already knew that crypto was just
You
totally
lived
fucked.
through it, bro, before. Like you
Yeah.
said, you've seen it, you've seen these cycles. So you knew there must have been 2001 bubble like feels here still a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I knew it was coming, not for UST. I didn't know that a depeg was something that
Right.
I needed to be
Right.
concerned about.
Right.
But I was fully sidelined in the market because I thought we were in full bear mode. We were at like maybe Bitcoin is at like 40K. I
Yeah.
thought we were going down to 9 to 13.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting on the sidelines. Okay, this is my dip buying fund. But while we wait for this dip, I'm going to put it into some DeFi protocols to earn yield while we wait.
Yeah. And
And
it's a
then
good idea in theory if the DeFi
yeah,
is legit, but when the DeFi is susceptible to, I mean, what would you call this? Was it pressure on the people that caused the collapse to happen? Pressure from Bitcoin because he couldn't meet his reserves?
I think so. Like, I mean, like Do Kwon just got arrested, and I don't think
Who is that? You keep saying his name. I don't know him. I feel
he's
like
the founder of Luna.
got it.
He's the creator of Luna and UST.
Got
And
it.
so
Is he in America? Is he arrested in America?
no, he I think he's Korean, and
Okay. Okay.
he basically kind of fled and then was in Montenegro hiding, and he got arrested in Montenegro.
Got
And
it.
so he's getting arrested, but some people say he hid some cash reserves, like 100 billion or some shit, of
Yeah.
which fuck I probably would too if I was in the situation.
Right.
But a lot of people are calling him a scammer, but I don't think he had any intention on scamming anybody. Like, I don't blame him for me losing. This is my idiotic mistake and
Of
something
course.
that I have to live with myself for it. Um, and I think it was just a perfect storm of, you know, similar with SVB, they made a pretty low risk bet buying US treasuries, and then the interest rate skyrocketed. And then they had to take a loss on some of those assets that would have been fine over a long enough timeline.
Right.
But once the bank run starts and panic sets in, there's nothing you can really do to stop
Well, that
it.
was a weird situation too, because they basically said if we call this to maturity, you're fine. But if we called it
Yeah.
today, you're screwed. So that
Yeah.
freaked everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and that's what led to the collapse. Like
Similar. It is similar.
if the perfect storm wouldn't have happened, then technically they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
It's just the interest rates skyrocketed and dropped the value of those bonds.
Yeah.
And similar with Luna UST, there was rumors of potential big short positions that were opened against it to cause the collapse. Also rumors of FTX being involved in that as well. I don't know if any of that's
just going to say that. Yep. Because I heard the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The crypto space is crazy.
If you can identify that perfect storm,
of course,
somebody can manipulate that.
It's opportunity. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. What do you think real quick about the FTX thing? You think that they're going to reinstate the FTT?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting situation as well.
You think Sam's hiding money somewhere still?
I think so, for sure.
Bro, for sure, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Of course he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation. I think it's also a little bit of obviously they were doing some things wrong, where they're using customer assets to do other things, but I think that's actually common practice in a lot of brokers.
Oh my God. That's common practice for banks. That's fractional reserve banking, basically.
It's the same shit. And again, it's the perfect storm where one rumor comes out where they're saying they're not solvent, which no banks are. And so I don't think he necessarily did anything like that much different than what a lot of brokers and a lot of banks are doing.
Just got caught.
It just, he got caught
got
in the middle of it, just like SVB did.
Yeah.
Once that trigger happens, the perfect storm causes that collapse, and they can't recover the funds that are somewhere else being used somewhere else to actually cover the withdrawals that are trying to be handled at this point in time.
Right.
Because banks got to make money.
Of course.
They can't just hold money and have all these fucking establishments and fucking, they have to do something with that money so that they can.
So they loan it out, they charge interest, and that's how they make their money. All right, I got a couple more quick ones for you, then I'm going to let you go. Yeah. You said a couple of times not coming back to the States. I got a kid coming on the way, and I saw you tweeted the other day about not having kids in America. So are kids in the cards for Foose in the future? And if so, are you staying out of America for sure if you do have kids?
Yeah, I mean, I have no plans as of right now for kids, but I want them someday. And I'm going to be 39 in August, and so I'm like, okay, at some point I got to.
Bro, you're in shape. You checking your T levels, you'll be good.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I mean, I'm just, everyone I talk to says it's like the best thing they've ever done, and they wish they would have done it earlier. And so, like the guy who's building my homes right now, he's from the UK, but he also lives here in Bali. And I was asking him, I think he's probably like 50
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Uh, and he just has a 21-month-old now. So he's an older dad. He's like, dude, I always told myself I'd never do it, but mate, he talks in his English accent, mate.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, but no, he said he wished he would have started sooner, and it's the best thing he's ever done. Same with my cousin. He's got two kids that are now like he's about the same age as me. He's got kids that are now like 11 and 13. He's like, dude, being a dad is the coolest thing in the fucking world.
Dude, especially imagine if like they're like mini you and they want to do the same
Yeah.
shit you do, bro. You'd be a good dad, I feel like. I feel like you could teach those kids how to trade a nice F1 breakout and we'd be rocking and rolling, bro.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I think raising kids in America is a little bit concerning to me. I don't know. I guess it really depends on where you're living and what your
Sure.
belief system is.
Sure.
But there's safety. School shootings have been going around a while. Like I'm from Eugene, Oregon, and there was a famous one by Kip Kinkle in Thurston High School when I was in about
That's
high
way
school.
back.
He killed
A lot of people don't
people.
even know about that one. I know that one. That
Yeah.
was before Columbine, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was one of the first ones. And that school was, 3 miles from my high school.
Wow.
And so I mean, and it just happens all the time. You never know when it's going to happen. With your school, there's all this like woke indoctrination of
my kid's not going to public school, bro.
Yeah. No. And so there's just a lot of weird shit going on there that it just seems weird to me. And especially
Dude, it's America in a whole, bro. It's like the leftist agenda kind of took over, and it's sad. I hate to make it political, but it's like just so many stupid things, bro. I mean, you see my tweets, so you see some days I can't hold it back, bro. It bothers me so much, especially because I'm going to be a dad. When I see some of the stuff they're trying to push on kids, it's not right.
Yeah, and it's just it's weird, but yeah. So I mean, Bali. I was talking to my builder who he's got his kid because he responded to my tweet that I made about that. He messaged me on WhatsApp after. He's like, dude, between the ages of 7, like up to 7 or 12, Bali is like an amazing place to raise your kids, which I think it can be because it's like out here nobody's talking politics. There's zero talk of politics. Nobody gives a shit about any of that out here.
That's awesome.
Also, you can get maids 24/7. Your house is cleaned every day. They take care of your kids for extremely cheap. And you're just out in nature out here. So they can learn a lot as well. But I would be concerned about once it's like, okay, once they get to a level where they actually need to start learning some real life shit, where would I take them? I don't know. Yeah. I guess I'll have to figure out that once they're like 7 to 12 years old, once they start going into grade school.
Right.
But someday I definitely want kids, but as of right now, it's
not in the cards.
Not in the cards. But I'm thinking about it more.
Okay, good. And maybe after you see me and my kid, I'll have him strapped to the front of me trading. Maybe it'll motivate you a little bit.
That's another thing. I don't have any. None of my friends here have kids.
Right.
So
no motivation yet.
Somebody has to start the trend.
But once you catch the bug, I think it spreads pretty quick. Here's my last one for you, bro, because I know we're over time, and I really appreciate you giving me all the time, bro. It's been really good conversation. Do you think that this situation with Russia and Ukraine is a serious situation that traders should be paying attention to, especially someone looking at SPY and Bitcoin, NASDAQ, US 30? Do you think that this is going to progress? Do you think we're closer to the end? Do you have any thoughts on that?
To be honest, I don't follow it too much. I did in the beginning, but I feel like it's kind of faded. But it's been interesting to watch. I've been reading up a lot of what Ray Dalio is talking about in the changing New World Order, which also is kind of scary to be having the US dollar as my predominant base currency.
Same.
If it is going to be actually making a big shift. Now I posted some videos about that. It's my most viewed video. It's got like 2.3 million on Instagram Reels right now about Trump talking about the currency losing its reserve.
Yeah.
France is talking about backing out. The BRICS nations are talking about creating their own currency. Obviously, Russia doesn't give a fuck about US dollar. China wants to be the world leading power, of which I think China definitely could be in the near future. But how long is it going to take for this?
And you brought that up earlier, right? You said we could be right on our short, but timing is really hard. We could have the right thesis, but if it's not going to happen in that short term, It's like Peter Schiff calling and Robert Kiyosaki. They've been made fun of forever because they say the end of the market, the end of the market, the end of the market all the time, you know?
Yeah. But because that's the thing. You can't pinpoint exactly when it happens. If you want to pinpoint exactly when something's happening, that's going to be based on technical analysis
100%
on the chart.
100%.
And so, but you can theorize macroeconomic views about what is coming. You just don't know when it's actually going to unfold. When is that perfect storm? Just like with SVB or FTX or Luna, when is that first trigger going to come that then creates this downward death spiral?
Yeah.
But you can look in research to find that perfect storm coming. And that's what Ray Dalio is talking about. Kiyosaki, all these guys, Peter Schiff with gold as well.
Have you thought about Dubai with all this crazy stuff going on in the world? Did you like it? Because I know you were out there before. Do you think about going back?
I've looked into establishing a business in Dubai.
Zero tax. Come on.
Well, it's now 9% tax starting.
All right, still, bro. I'll pay 9%.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's an option. Like I'm looking at potentially renouncing. I can get a St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship for like 125K.
That's it.
Or you can do Malta for like 1.3 million, and you have an EU passport, and you can live in any EU country. Or there's Turkey where you can get a passport for 400K by way of a real estate investment. So then you actually can rent it out on Airbnb and sell it within 5 years. But a lot of these places, you're just getting the citizenship, and then you have to go get tax residency in a tax-free zone, which would be potentially someplace like Dubai. But for me, as an American citizen, there's no point in getting in a residency in a tax-free zone because I still have to pay global tax.
Correct.
So all this would be boiled down to me renouncing first and then potentially setting all this up, which been debating. It's coming.
I could see the thumbnail now. Yeah. I'm not an American anymore, and it's Foose like holding a Bali flag or a Thailand flag, a Taiwanese flag.
Yeah.
No, bro, this has been great. We'll pause here, bro. I know we could keep going because we didn't even talk about the real estate stuff. I want to know more about that next time we chat. But why don't we do this? Anything coming? I know you mentioned some of the products that you guys are working on. Anything you want to let the people know about, where to find you, because you've got a lot of different websites and stuff. Where's the best place to connect with you, and maybe some exciting things that are coming?
Well, you can obviously check me out on youtube.com/Cameron Fous or Instagram.com/Cameron.Fous. And things that are coming is, one, I have a Trading View indicator suite coming, which is basically all my Trading View indicators that help me basically make the right decision. Or it doesn't make you make the right decision. It gives you a basis for when that right decision is coming into a higher probability. Sure. And so that's coming. And then I also have the MT5 risk management trading app, like we discussed earlier, the one that you can help manage all your risk properly and automate that process. Hydra funding, we're coming up with some new plans that are going to be coming out momentarily. And then I also just have my courses, Krypton and Decrypton, which teach you how to long and short the markets. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. And,
more YouTube videos, more crypto videos.
I'm kind of changing up what my strategy on YouTube. I was just doing a lot of market updates, which they don't perform well on my channel. So I'm coming up with some different ideas for some different content for YouTube.
Good. Then don't tell us. We'll all be biting at the bit to see it. So
yeah.
Bro, thank you, Foose. I really appreciate it. I know everybody listening appreciates it. One thing I like to do, excuse me, at the end, for the people who watched or listened all the way through, hit us in the comments on YouTube, shoot us a DM. I'm sure I'll convince Foose to come back in a couple of months and do another episode. We'll follow up with some questions directly from you guys in that next episode. Maybe we'll talk some more real estate, see if those predictions, those shorts have come true at that point, and we'll pick things up maybe then, Foose. But I really appreciate it, bro. I'll make sure everybody can connect with you. Everybody listening, watching, we appreciate you guys as well. And we'll see everybody in the next episode.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on, man. And my villa gets done about end of July. So maybe we can hop in a new one after that and talk more about the real estate stuff in Bali.
You show off the villa, I'll show off the baby.
All right. Sounds good.
Good deal, bro. All right, Foose. Thanks, brother. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. See you guys.